There is no pathway by which dietary intolerances can cause fat gain. This is a complete scam. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today, but a quick reminder, if you guys will please click like down below, it'd be greatly appreciated. If you're not subscribed or following, please do so. And if you'll be kind enough to drop me a comment down below, I would also greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, this is one of these things that I see a lot of on social media. You see it more in the hippie type fitness, or what I call also the healthosphere, which is usually just like the soccer mom types who try to give a lot of holistic stuff, and they talk a lot about how, your food intolerances and different balances, but it's none of it's based on reality generally. And so this is a big one. And again, most men and stuff I've noticed don't fall for this. This tends to be a kind of like the whole mom crowd and the holistic fitness. They really fall for this nonsense. And what we need to understand, there is no pathway by which a food intolerance can make you gain body fat. Are there pathways by which you can gain a few pounds of water and hold it? Of course, but it's temporary. And guess what? It goes away if you just stop eating the food you're intolerant of. Okay, does that make sense? So people don't understand the difference. Like people will say, well, what do you mean? Because I've seen people, they get inflammation, food allergies, and food intolerances all confused. These are completely different things. And you can't use them interchangeable, because keeping in mind, these are medical terms. Okay, so let's step back and remember that, because I had someone say, well, that sounds like inflammation to me. I'm like, no, dude, you have a food intolerance. It's giving you gas and diarrhea. And they're confusing it with inflammation. Inflammation is a hormonal response through the whole body. Okay, and it can be localized, but it is a hormonal response. No, dude, you just got diarrhea and gas, which is generally what a food intolerance causes. So most food intolerances are caused by one of a couple of things happening in the GI tract. So let's understand that. All right, an allergy is a systemic autoimmune response. For example, if you're allergic to a food, your immune system basically goes into a freak out mode with stuff with cytokines and other stuff, and it causes massive problems. It can even cause anaphylaxis, death, things like that. Right? A food allergy is a systemic response. Right, so if you're having a food allergy, it's not necessarily going to give you gas and bloating. In fact, it should never give you gas or bloating. That's a dead giveaway. That is not an allergy. Does it cause swelling? Like, do you break out in hives? Does your throat close shut? Do you lose the ability to breathe? Do you go in convulsions occasionally from eating it? Right? That makes sense? Like, those are fairly severe, but if they're less severe, maybe you'll break out in hives. Your face will swell. Maybe your lips will swell a little bit when you eat it. That's really minor. That's the minor. The more serious end, the most extreme end, you go into convulsions, your throat closes shut, which I have had happen to me before. I'm very familiar with it. So I'm not going to go into what causes that. But yeah, I've had to have my stomach pumped in the ER after being injected with epinephrine. That's an allergy. So understand the difference. A food intolerance is a gut malabsorption issue. Okay. So you see where we're about to go of why an intolerance can't cause fat gain? What causes fat gain? Energy turnover. Calories in versus calories out. If you have a food intolerance, you're generally pooping most of it out. How are you going to gain fat? By pooping undigested and unabsorbed calories out your butt. I'm going to stop it. No, I want people to really think about that. How does pooping out undigested calories, sometimes is diarrhea, how does that make a person gain fat? You're literally taking in less energy. Your calories out just went up. Because doesn't that count as calories out? We count that as calories out, by the way, in the calories in, calories out equation, because you don't always get all your calories. And there are foods that are prone to giving like 10% of their calories never get absorbed even by the gut, and they just go out. Like nuts, for example, one of those sort of happens. Right? You poop them out, guys. So that's part of your calories out. So if you have a food, so a perfect example, one most people know, lactose intolerance, right? And you have someone say, oh, I gained weight from it. Well, you might gain a little bloating, but it's temporary. And if you're lactose intolerant and you keep getting bloating and gas and occasional diarrhea from a food and you keep eating it, I'm sorry, you're stupid. Like, you don't need a health guru to tell you, hey, this food that makes you bloated and gives you liquid explosive diarrhea, you should stop eating it. And that's what I would tell someone with something like that. Like, if you need somebody to tell you this at this point, I don't know, maybe you struggle to tie your own shoelaces or something. Maybe you need a guardian. Like, if you're at that level, you're functioning at that level, maybe you need a guardian or someone to, handle your business and tell you what to do legally. You probably definitely shouldn't have access to your own bills and bank and driving a car like, you shouldn't be doing stuff like that. Like, if you're at that level. So this is a no-brainer. Should be common sense. Anyone of average intelligence should know, hey, this food gives me gas and diarrhea. When I eat it, I should stop eating it, right? You definitely don't need to pay a guru to tell you this. All right, but that's what a food intolerance is. So think of, there's other intolerances you can have, and generally it's either caused because you don't have an enzyme. So lactose intolerance, lack of the lactase enzyme to break down lactose. And it's why it goes away in lactose-free dairy. Whereas a casein allergy, like people say, you don't have a dairy allergy, you have a casein allergy. That's a real allergy. That's one of the types of protein found in milk, casein, right? So you may not, depending upon the quality of the whey, you may not get the allergic reaction to whey protein. You'll 100% get it to cheese, Greek yogurt, milk, any of those, definitely. Okay, but that's going to fall back into that full body autoimmune response, right? You're going to have an allergic reaction. Totally different. So food but you can't gain weight from an allergic reaction. You're not going to gain fat from an allergic reaction. In fact, since serious allergic reactions can be deadly without treatment, you're going to lose a lot of weight when you're dead. You're going to lose it really fast. So no pathway by which that causes fat gain either. Okay. So again, keep in mind, any swelling or bloating you get from any of these is temporary. And if you just stop eating them, it goes away. It's not fat gain. But if anything, and I'm not trying to tell people this is hey, you should do this for weight loss. If anything, a food intolerance is probably going to make you expel more calories. Now, you might feel like crap, so you might exercise less. But unless you were doing, 1,000 calories of exercise a day, that's not really going to be a factor. Like, it really isn't going to impact you enough for that, because you're still expelling undigested calories. That's what a food intolerance is. You're not absorbing it.